All right, let's get right into it. We are going on a journey to the foot of the world's highest mountain. But this isn't really a story about miles and altitude. This is a story about what happens when a dream you've had for years suddenly becomes very, very real.
So, imagine this. These are the very first words Sarah says after landing. She's standing in the complete and utter chaos of Kathmandu's airport at midnight. She and her friends have just flown 8,000 kilometers from London, and the reality of what they're about to do, well, it's just starting to hit them. It's that feeling, pure excitement, but with a big dose of oh boy.
Okay, so let's back up to the beginning. This is that moment where 2 years of careful planning and far-off dreams finally crash into the dusty, noisy, vibrant reality of Nepal. I mean, just think about that for a second. 2 years. That's 2 years of saving every penny, of missing parties, of training on rainy weekends when everyone else is cozy inside. For this group of 5 friends, this wasn't just some trip. It was a mission, something they'd been working toward for a long, long time.
Now, when it came to picking their guides, they didn't go for the flashiest website. Sarah was drawn to the history of Trekking Team Nepal. We're talking decades of real-world experience, thousands of people guided safely through these mountains. But the real kicker? When she emailed them, she got a reply from a real person asking real questions, not just some copy-pasted response. That's how you build trust before you even pack your bags.
And this was the promise that sealed the deal. These words from Hari, the company's founder, just cut right through all their anxieties. It wasn't a promise that it would be easy. No, it was a promise of support. And for a group of trekkers feeling pretty nervous, that meant absolutely everything.
So with that foundation of trust, the real adventure can begin. Let's get on the trail and meet the man who is going to lead them literally every single step of the way.
Nothing says welcome to the Himalayas quite like the flight into Lukla. Seriously, it's one of the most wild airports on the planet. As their little plane is banking between these giant peaks and then slams down on a runway that basically just ends at a cliff, the dream of Everest just became intensely, heart-poundingly real.
And this number right here shows you what really matters when things get real. It's about who you have with you. This is their guide, Pemba Sherpa. And that number? 60 plus. That's how many times he's made this trek. That's not just experience. That's a whole lifetime of mountain wisdom walking right there beside you. He was their anchor. The first day on the trail was just a perfect breath of fresh air after all the chaos. It was quiet, peaceful. The path just meandered through these beautiful forests, past stones carved with ancient prayers. And all the while, Pemba is quietly sharing stories of the Khumbu region, almost weaving them into the landscape they were walking through.
All right, and now we get to the heart of it all. Just like Hari promised, the mountain, it started to test them. This is where the real challenges, both physical and mental, really begin to show up.
Day 2 was an absolute beast. It's this huge climb up to the famous Sherpa town of Namche Bazaar. This is kind of the first big test of the trek, a 600-meter vertical climb that just goes on and on. It's a brutal, lung-searing introduction to what high-altitude effort feels like.
And right here, this is where having a guide like Pemba becomes priceless. When Priya started getting a headache, a classic sign of altitude sickness, he didn't push, he didn't rush. He just calmly slowed the whole group down, kept a close eye on her, and managed the whole thing without any drama. His priority wasn't the schedule, it was his team.
And this was the thought that went through Sarah's head as she watched him. It's such a powerful realization, right? Real expertise isn't some diploma you hang on the wall. It's calm, confident action in the exact moment you need it. It's safety that you can see and feel. So let's talk about this for a second. Acute mountain sickness, or AMS, is a really serious risk up here. Basically, it happens when your body just can't keep up with the drop in oxygen as you go higher. Being able to spot those early signs, the headache, feeling sick, it is absolutely critical. And that expertise was tested again a few days later. See, Tom tried to power through his symptoms, tried to hide them, but Pemba noticed anyway. And instead of pushing forward to stay on schedule, he immediately called for an extra rest day, one of the buffer days they had built into the trip. That decision wasn't just professional, it was potentially life-saving. Tom got better, and the team went on, safer and stronger because of it.
So, after being tested by the trail, the team is now closing in on their ultimate goal. The air is razor thin, the world around them is just rock and ice, and the destination, it's finally within reach.
The last push to base camp is just surreal. You're not in a valley with trees anymore. You are walking on the Khumbu Glacier itself. It feels like another planet,
a vast, broken world of gray rock and brilliant blue ice that actually groans and shifts beneath your feet.
And then, it happens. After all the planning, all the training, all the breathless steps, they come around one last bend, and there it is. A small city of brightly colored tents, thousands of prayer flags snapping in the wind, and looming over it all, the immense, terrifying beauty of the Khumbu icefall. They'd made it.
And that was Sarah's reaction. It's the emotional peak of the whole thing. All the effort, the doubt, the beauty, the exhaustion, it all just comes pouring out in this massive wave of emotion that's too big and too complex to even have a name.
And Pemba, in his quiet way, gives that nameless feeling a shape. He knew exactly what was happening. You see, you don't just arrive at a physical place. A place like this, it rearranges you. It fundamentally shifts the order of things inside your head and your heart.
So what happens after a moment like that? Where do you go from there? Let's talk about the impact of this journey, long after the hiking boots have been put away.
You know, coming home can be the most disorienting part of a big adventure. The world you left behind is exactly the same. The traffic, the routines, the noise. But you're not. That internal shift that Pemba talked about, that's the real thing you carry home with you.
In the end, I think Sarah's own words just say it perfectly. The goal might have been to complete a trek in the mountains, but what she actually got was something so much deeper, something that will be a part of her forever.
And really, that's the whole point of a story like this one, isn't it? It's a reminder that these kinds of transformative experiences are out there, waiting. Sarah went out and wrote her story, one of challenge and trust and profound change. So I guess the only question left to ask is, what story will you write?